Hi, today on the workbench I've got a NuTone IM5006, but I'm not going to really talk about the 5006 so much because I've done a lot of videos about 5006s. They're in the 5006 video playlist on YouTube, so you can watch and learn all about 5006s. This was sent in by a customer. When he said he was going to send it, he said, I'm going to send you another thing that I found in the wall behind it. I don't know exactly what it's for. I don't know if it works properly, but I figure if I'm going to send you the Master Station, I should send you this other weird little module also so you can check it out while it's there. And what did I find in the box? Well, I found this. What is this? Well, if we turn it over and look on the back, it says IM5006 Chime Interface Module, part number 3005A 00000. And this was made by NuTone in NuTone's shop in Cincinnati, Ohio, back in the day. And this is exactly what it says it is. It's a Chime interface module. So what is a Chime interface module, and how would you get one if you had needed it back when 5006s were in production? Let's take a look at it and see. So what is a Chime interface module, and why would you want one, and how would you get it? Well, one of the complaints about the IM5006 back in the day when it was in production was that if you turned down the radio volume on each of the remote stations, which you can do individually room by room, and on the master station you have a mute button to mute the music, you couldn't hear the chime tones from a Chime module through the system. The Chime module rings through on the radio side of the system, not through the intercom side of the system. So if you turn all the radio volumes down everywhere, you don't hear the doorbell when it rings, and that was a problem, and people complained about that because sometimes you don't want the music up at all. Maybe you've only got a handful of speakers and you've got them turned down because the baby's asleep or something like that, and people complain. So NuTone had to come up with a solution. The solution was this. So what does this do? It moves the Chime input from the music side of the system into the intercom side of the system. So what is this comprised of? Well, what we have here is the main board off of an inside remote station. This would be the main board off of like an IS515 inside remote station, and it's connected to this little board underneath. And this is the board that was made in NuTone shop, and you can see the connection here. They reused the interconnect cable from a 515 station. It's soldered onto the adapter board, and then it's plugged into this socket here. There's nothing plugged into these two other plugs because this would be for the touchpad and the speaker, which you don't need in this application. There is also a little bit of modification that was done on the main board. You've got a couple jumper wires going from point to point. It's all these three little purple wires. And then what do we have on this board? Well, on this board, it's actually pretty simple. We've got 3 reed relays, one for each Chime switch, so it's front, rear, and side. You've got some transistors to drive the relays. You've got some diodes across the coils, and then we have 3 ICs. So your 3 ICs, this one is a decade counter, this is a gate array, this is a Schmitt trigger. So how does this actually work? Well, this would be assembled like this. This cable plugs into the Chime connection on the back of the master station, and this connection right here is where you plug in the Chime module, like this. And what you've done essentially is you've turned the Chime module into another intercom station in the 5006 system. Now, since the 5006 is a selective call system, every single remote station has an identification number, and you use these little dip switches right here to set the code for each individual station. So you would give this station an identification number. It was recommended back in the day to make it the last station in the list. So if you had 12 remote speakers, this would be 13. If you had 23 remote stations, this would be 24. 24 was the maximum that you could have. When someone would come up and push the doorbell button to activate the Chime module, instead of ringing through on the music side of the system, it would activate this board. This board would activate the intercom just as if it was an intercom call. So essentially the Chime module is making an intercom call, and then the tones from the Chime module are broadcast throughout the system like it was an intercom call, no different than if you were speaking into a station, and you would hear it throughout the entire system, but it would be heard on the intercom side, not on the music side. So you could have the music volumes turned down everywhere in the house and the master station on mute, and you would still hear the Chime module ring. I suppose this solved complaints. I never actually had an installation when anybody felt that this was necessary, but if they went through the trouble to make something like this, it probably was enough of a problem they had to do something about it. So how would you get one of these? Well, if you had a customer with a problem, you would have to get a hold of somebody at NuTone, usually your regional service administrator, and you would explain the situation to them, and they would hem and haw, and if you asked really nice, they said, okay, we'll send you one of these. It wasn't free, you had to pay for it. I couldn't find how much they cost. I'm sure that they were probably not terribly expensive. It depends also probably on how nicely you asked. There was another module that was similar to this. There was a door station module. It did essentially the same thing. You would connect your entry door stations to the module, thereby giving the door station an identification number, and you could call up the door station individually instead of doing a broadcast, talk and listen as the standard 5006 was. So there were some modifications that you could do to a system with NuTone's help. So I thought I would show this off because I haven't seen one of these. I think I've seen one once a long time ago, but I haven't seen one for a long time, and I thought I would show it to you. I hope you found this interesting, and for somebody maybe it'll be helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the wheel, put in your email address, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.